Good morning, traders. Hope you can hear me and you can see my screen. Somebody give me yes, please. Okay, still no answer. So the delay is pretty long. Hope somebody can hear me. Hey, Vic, can you hear me? Give me a yes. Tell me if you see the screen too. Okay, thank you. That was a very long delay. So we're getting something like about 30 seconds to 40 seconds delay. Let everyone come in and we will start. For those of you who are in, anybody in any trade, if you want me to look at, if you're in a trade that you want me to look at right now, we can do that. Anybody in the CAD trade? I'm still in the CAD trade. And my entry order was left overnight. Didn't pay attention to it. Should have taken it off. It actually tagged and it's going pretty good. I have it at break even now and I had nothing. I don't have to worry about it. So it's break even, right? It's a break even, and if it goes, it goes. I think it still will go. SPX, we'll come to that in a second. I think you're tagged in that trade. Good. So let's see. I think one of them went. I don't think this one went. This one could be a sell setup right now. You could actually go with this sell setup, put it under the low here, and go with this sell setup here. It's still the same sell setup from yesterday. This one actually made a new high, but you should have been tagged in the NASDAQ. If you took the NASDAQ, you got tagged in that one. Pull back, it's coming. I would say move your stop really tight because there's a good chance you might be making a flat here. There's a good chance this turned out to be a flat. Come back there and then drop. So you can exit the trade here if you're in it. Exit there and then make sure, we're still expecting it to come here. Okay, so if everybody start typing the chart you want, it's not going to work like that. So let's do it. We're going to go to some order. Right, I'm just putting trades that are actually valid. People are just typing charts randomly that they want. So let's go. We're going to go with the order we want. Good morning, traders. Vic, we ready to go? Let's start. So we'll start with the dollar index. We'll go with the dollar index. We're going to go through all the majors. I'm going to show you the trade setup we have. Some of the trade setups we took yesterday, right? So two trades we took yesterday. One was absolutely good. That is the Euro CAD. The CAD dollar, I closed it. And I can show you what happened to the CAD dollar. Remember what we said, the way we manage trades, right? Is that if it still go, you're still in the trade. So I'm still in this trade. We closed the trade yesterday. We entered the trade here. The stop was here. I closed the trade here. This was my loss on the CAD from the risk, right? Yesterday I showed you that trade and I re-entered the trade right here. So right now this is my profit in that trade with a stop here now. So the stop is different. I'll keep this trade to go break the low. So for this trade to give me good profit, it needs to actually break the low. I'm still in this one. It's a break even. So that is how we exit trade and re-enter them if they're not going our way. See? I hope you learned something. Let's go. So we'll start with dollar index. Dollar index, we're expecting when it breaks here to make a flag. Well, we're making a flag here. There's a good chance this should go back up a little. Let's hope it goes back up a little. We'll get a small flat here, and that would be a really good sell setup. Because if you get a small flat there, the idea is we'll come break this low. We might even break this low. And then we will start to see whether they're going to go back up or whether they're going to continue to drop. That is based on the higher time frames that we have. Right? So when we get to this low, here, we will know this probably will be we could go with this as the running flat here because we have a flat inside of here already. And if and when we break this low, we'll decide whether we go back up to that top or they just continue to drop, and this was all the consolidation. Now, I don't think that's all the consolidation, so I believe when we get here, we're going to go back there and then drop. We'll see. Right? If you're with us, when that happens, you will be able to trade with us. You will see what happens, and you will see how we take the trades. Silver. Silver actually broke out, so this would have been a difficult one for some of you because yesterday we had this whole correction in one piece, and we were thinking they would come back to retest the low. They didn't. So if you're not in that trade, not a big deal. Wait for another flag buy. Actually, some of my traders, when they saw this move came down here and started to go back up, they figure out that flat. Right? So if you were there in our trading room when you figure out that flat, you'd have an entry order above this stop here for this to go. You probably will be tagged, you'll close it, you re-enter the trade here, and then you'll get this trade here now. So if this makes a flag, it's a buy, but you have to be very, very careful of the buy now, because on the 4 hour, we're just breaking out of a structure like this. Right? We're just breaking out of this structure here. And at this point, we will either need a correction here before you continue to go, or they can literally come back to the bottom here. See, it went up, it came back to the bottom, went up, came back to the bottom, went up, came back to here, right? So you can probably repeat this process, maybe even retest the low, or you wait for a deeper correction here for the upside. So any 1 hour flag you take now, you have to be aware of that. Right? You have to be aware that it's not going to keep going like this all the time. Now you're lucky if they actually do, and if you get a sudden spike, you may want to take profit out, because after that it could be the reversal. Now, is it reversing right now? We do have a lot of divergence, and that's a warning sign that, yeah, deeper correction. I don't think reversal, but a deeper correction is very possible. Gold you should have bought. We told you gold is a good buy setup. If you bought it, watch it when it breaks the stop. Now gold could continue to go. There's no reason why gold should come back from there. It could continue to go. This could be all the correction you get, because this flat is outside of that move. So there's a good chance gold will just continue to go up. On the bigger picture, there's no reason why it shouldn't go up. It's coming all the way to break that top. If and when we break the top, then we will figure out if it's going to continue to go up or if it's going to come back down. Now, we are assuming, and this is what you have to always think, that you're assuming that this is all the correction. 1, 2, 3. And if you don't understand that that might not be all the correction, go watch the first day, the 2 recording I did the first day. It will help you a lot to understand it. So there is a good chance that this correction could come back all the way to the bottom here, and we could go back up, and we could come back here again before we eventually go out. So every time you come to the top of the correction, you have to trade with a lot of caution. We trade, this is the daily structure. We trade on the 1 hour. So there's no problem taking a buy if you get a flag. Just that you have to know that you got to first protect your capital. So you will move your stop to break even when you can. So if there's a sudden drop, you're out for break even. Or you will take profit when you have it, because very often you will get a very deep pullback in this one. Now we've got this move down. It's relatively sharp, I would say. We also had this move down. Relatively sharp. You can make an argument for this being a flat with this piece. You can make that argument. Nothing's wrong with that. But then we wouldn't have anyone for this. So if they break the top and come back here, we would probably put that as a running flat and then continue to go. Right? So when it breaks the top, if you're in the trade, you have to be careful. Now that we're at the top of the daily, you always have to be careful. So if you're in this trade, and right now it's going sideways and you want to stay with the trade for it to go to the top, you get it to break even. If you want to take profit, you take profit somewhere when it comes back to the top there, and then you can wait for another flag and buy it again. Euro, I'll take this out. The buy is already going. There's no point. We don't have any trade in it today. Euro, we're waiting for this to pull back, and then we're buying. So we're literally waiting for this to pull back a little here. We're going to get a running flat, and then that's a buy setup. So Euro will be a buy setup today. We're waiting for that buy setup. You can actually put that entry order in, because we already have a pullback, and it might be equivalent. Let's see. It's not exactly equivalent to that, but if they're going to come a little more down, you probably wouldn't be tagged by it. So the entry order in the Euro, you can go. That's a valid running flat. You can put an entry order here now. The stop for that trade would be here. Because if they tag you here, then we're expecting this to go break this top. Minimum break the top, and then we'll see what happens from that point. So if I'm going to put that trade on, it will be a buy like this. Buy here, stop just under this low, and target the break of the top. So we'll target the 270 of that move. Let's see where would that put us. Let's say 270 of this move would be where we're just looking for somewhere where we can, where the first 270 there, which should be somewhere here. Yeah, we're just targeting it. That's not exactly where you would close your trade. That's just to calculate that there's risk management. We use the FIB only for that purpose. On the 270 to say, well, that's the first target. Like 27% is first with it, normally 30% if you feel like, right? Because what we find when we did the back testing was that 90% of the time, even if you're a correction or you're in a reversal or you're in an impulsive move, it gets to that target like 30% of the time. So let's see if this one goes. That's where you can target for this trade. You might close the trade much earlier or even much later, depending on how it goes. That would be a buy setup. We'll put it in an aggressive buy. Pound. Pound actually is coming down. We're deciding whether we want the sell setup or not. So you can put a sell setup here right now. The only thing you'll be targeting is it coming to break this low. You put it to break even. Now, why would we take a trade that has no risk to reward in it, right? Why would you take a trade like that? Because remember this pattern here, and I think I told you that already. This pattern here could also be a leading diagonal. And if it is a leading diagonal, if you remember what I told you, it's going to make 1, it's going to make 2, it's going to make 3. And then it will drop like a rock. Now, you can either wait for that to happen to decide if you want the trade, or you can wait for it to say, this is actually a correction, and all they're going to do is come here and then go right back up. So when this comes to this level, we will be looking for a buy setup. We'll be buying this flag to the upside. And if instead of a flag, you get another correction, then we'll sell it. Right? And if it makes another correction, we'll sell it. And if it makes another correction, we'll sell it. And then we'll figure out that this is making a flat. And that would be downside on the bigger picture. As of now, it's a buy setup. Right now, the only thing you should look for is a buy setup in here. So this one is an aggressive trade. My traders, I was showing them and I was like, okay, if you guys want to see whether this is going to be a bigger flat, you can take the trade here, right? Just under this last impulse, put a stop above that. And once it breaks this low, you get it to break even. Now that's a very, very aggressive trade. Most of you might not be able to manage a trade like that. So don't put it on. We're not going to put that trade on in this room because I'm not sure you have the ability to manage that trade, right? Somebody wanted the USD, I'll do it because we're already in that trade. I probably should have, sorry, I should have started with that. I just remember why you asked for it. So we got a sell setup here. We got a sell setup from here this morning. I'm in the sell from this point, but you can take the sell from here. And for two things we're looking for. Remember I said the yen is going to go down. I don't know how many of you took the trade. That's a very aggressive 15-minute trade, by the way. I just noticed my trade is going very well. That's why I said we're looking for this move down. Remember we said we were looking for this to make a flag here so we can sell it. Well, it didn't make the flag. It actually went up, make a flag, and we bought it yesterday, which means you closed that trade already. Right? If you buy this trade, once it breaks that top, you close the trade. Or you move your stop and you're out of the trade. Now we're expecting it to come down. Two things I'm going to be looking for, and I want you to see this. First, we want this to come back here, and this would become a flat. A running flat for upside. Or we want this to probably just pull back like this and then probably go again. So if this happens, we'll get a small profit. If this happens, we get good profit. But the trade is worth taking. So we got in the 15 minutes this morning. I actually took it much more aggressive than that in the trading room. I was in the trading room with some of the guys and we had nothing else better to do than to take this trade. So we took it from that point. What you can do if you take a trade from that point is you can also close it here and re-enter the trade here. So now we've got a small flag. That's the trade. Now this is not the trade. We're not trying to get this. We're trying to see how far it's going to go. So the stop for that trade is here, and we'll see what happens to it. Right, so that is a trade we already have going. Let me see if I can put that on. Remember, we're trying to show you what we do in our trading room. We had a session this morning. Every morning before we do the London, we get a session. We normally record everything we do, but we do for this week we're not recording because all the recordings are on YouTube, so all the traders, my traders, can go there and watch it. And we're gonna watch this trade. This trade we're expecting it to come. Well, the first deep pullback should be somewhere here before they actually go back up. Right? Maybe if you keep pulling this trend line, you can make an argument for somewhere here before they pull back. Right? Something like this. And then we will see if they go back up or if they break through. If it breaks through, good, that's a trade. If there'll be more flags, don't worry. If you miss this, there are going to be a lot more flags anyway. This is a 15-minute flag. It'll probably make another 15-minute flag, drop again, and then it's going to make the hourly flag. We will get the hell out of the trade. So it will probably come here, make another flag, drop again, and then it starts to do this. This is the trade you actually want. Right? This is the safest trade. These are very aggressive trades in the 15-minute. And if you don't know wave analysis and you don't have the skill levels, you probably shouldn't take trades like that. So we're going with that one. Let's go back to the pound. Again, I said if you want the pound one, that's your call. It's a very aggressive thing, but that's mostly for my traders. Aussie. Oh, we missed this. We were trying to get this trade down, as you can see with the arrow. Well, this trade would have been from here on the 5 minutes. I don't know if any of my traders, I left the room when went in. So this is where they should have taken that trade for this to come back. And again, this one is definitely starting to look upside. See this is starting to look upside, because when it comes here, we will be looking at that as a possible flat. We'll be looking at that as a possible flat for upside. Now this flat is still going to go down, but first it will come here. First we were anticipating the move to come here, go back up there, and then drop. This would just be a bigger flat. Right? Okay, you took it. Well done. One person did take it, so well done. See? That's the power of wave analysis. So what we're looking for is this move down, get that correction, and then drop. Remember yesterday we were waiting to see whether it would drop off. This one, it didn't. So now we're going to get this trade. We're going to get the buy. If you're in the sell, you got to be careful, right? All right. Okay, Ovidu. Well done. By the way, he's in our group. So he watches. And by the way, Ovidu only joined the group, I think a couple of months ago, right? Very, very not so long ago, and he's doing amazing. So we're going to look at this. We're going to look at this. You take the profit. It's probably going to go back here, so we'll probably get a buy set up, all of us together. We'll get a buy set up there, and then we'll be looking for the sell. We could get both of those trades before the week is over. So let's go. New Zealand. We're looking for a sell setup here. So yesterday, if you took that sell setup, you should have closed that trade for break even. By rule, my traders know that. We closed that trade for break even. It didn't go. And today you'll be looking for a new sell setup. So what would be the criteria of the new sell setup? The stop comes here. The entry order goes under the low. The entry order goes under the low. Now this is a small flag on the 15, so I wouldn't go higher than that for my traders unless it comes deeper, right? Unless this end up coming deeper. If it comes deeper, then we will move the entry order to the last impulse. Right now we're going to use the low because it's very close. So the stop is above the top, we're under the low, and we're looking at that trade. I'll take this off, the entry is here. And the target hasn't changed. We're still going to break the low. Right? Nothing is wrong with the target. So the trade is still valid. So I'll leave that as a sell. I'll leave this as we'll take this off. We might even get a buy first on this, so we'll take this off. If we get a buy on the Aussie, it will not structurally change the New Zealand, right? So what would happen is you'll find New Zealand keep doing this. We will take off this trade, right? But we wouldn't really get into a buy with the New Zealand because the setup on the Aussie for the buy would be much better than the setup on the New Zealand for the buy. The setup on the pound for the buy would be a much better one. The setup on the euro for the buy is a much better one. So we'll rather go with those trades than this trade, right? Yen, I think we're going to get the down move. Let's see if it's going to happen today or tomorrow. But this down move is likely going to happen. In any case, this trade, the worst case that will probably happen to us is we'll get a break even if it doesn't go, right? Let's see. CAD is going. CAD will absolutely break that low. There's no question about it. If you're following me and you know my thought process on this, and if you were in the room, you can remember this is the second time we're selling it, right? So we're going for this. The first one was a slight small loss, much less than we risk. And this one is going very good. So the entry is there, the stop is here, and it's going. When it breaks this low, it can go more. This can go much lower. This can come all the way to break this low before it goes. Now it's not going to go in one straight line, right? There's going to be a lot of pullback. Of course, I wish it go in one straight line because I'm in the trade. But it's not going to go in one straight line. So there'll be a lot of pullbacks. Now I'm at break even, so I don't have to worry about the trade. There is no risk on your account in that trade. And you always want all your trade to get the break even, so you're trading without any risk. Swiss. I told you can take the Swiss sell, and I will not take it because it's going to go really slow, and there wasn't much risk to reward. You can sell it again if you want. Now might be a better deal if you want to sell it because you'll be selling this flag, and you can use a stop here. So Risk to reward, yeah, if it come this much, it will give you a trade. It's worth it. It's going very slow. It's probably just going to break this low and then go back up. It could go a little lower and then go back up. I don't know. I'd rather take the cat. I'm pretty sure how far the cat is going to go, but I'm not sure how far this is going to go when it breaks. Sorry, when it breaks the low. Euros. Yep, it came down. It made a flat. Remember yesterday we said you need a flag here before you get the trade. Otherwise, it's going to likely go break the top. It's going to likely go back, break the top, and then come down. See? That's how the magic works. You don't jump into something before because it's moving. When this was moving down, I said, be careful. This could become a flat. Go break the top and then come back here. So now, and also this morning in the trading room, we looked at that and we were like, okay, let it break the top. Let it come back, give us a flag, and we will come for this trade. This is a trade we want. That is this one here. And then it's upside. So we're going to let it break the top. We're not buying this. Definitely not buying this. Let it break the top. We'll look for a down move, and then we'll try to get this trade here. Let's see if we get it. The same setup is on the Pong Oz. It's mostly an Aussie movement. Same setup on the Pong Oz. See this drop here? We saw this flat. It's coming here. You wait for a flag here before you sell because now it's going to go back up, break the top. It's going to go back up there, break that top, come back here, give us a flag. Then we go for this trade. And then we'll be buying. I'm pretty sure if you're new to wave analysis, if you're looking at this and you're new to wave, just think, a lot of you follow me a lot, so you've seen this happen, right? It's not amazing to you anymore. But think of somebody who's just joining me, right? And they're looking at the charts and they're, what the hell is wrong with this guy? How do you know it's going to come down here and then it's going to go back up there? Like what? You're dictating what the market should do? Like literally, people do say that to me, that that's crazy. Nobody knows what the market is going to do, and you can't tell me you think it's going to come here and then for some reason it's going to stop somewhere in here and then it's going to go back up. The market will either drop or it's going to continue to go. And I'm like, dude, don't worry. I can show you a few of those forecasts that we did, and it works perfect. Here's a good example, and I can go back and show you a lot of them, right? I think no, it's not about a flag pattern. What we are looking for is the flag for the entry. So this is going to break the top here. There's no risk to reward in the trade. We don't know how high it's going to go either. It can come all the way here. It might even make another one and go. It might make another one and go. Can we buy these? Yeah, you can buy those if you get good entry and you the risk to reward when it break the top would be okay. But if you don't get that, right? If you don't get that, then you have to stay away from these trades and wait, especially if you have something like this at the back. If we didn't have this here, the trade to the upside would be a good one, and we'd be buying it. So the difference is because you have that now, you let it break the top. If we had a flag in here in the 15 for the buy, it would be a good trade. Because this wasn't a flag, but if this was a flag here and you had an entry here to go break that top, and you put a stop here and you're going for this trade, then a risk to reward in the trade is good. We do that in our trading room, especially when the range is huge. The bigger the range, the more you trade in it, right? So when you get a range like this that is big enough to take trades, you take trades in it. But we don't have a big range here now, so I just let it break the top and then we'll wait for this to come down back and we'll sell it. This is a big move. We can sell that and we can buy to the upside. See? It's not as simple as you think. But when we do those forecasts, traders always wonder what makes you think it's going to happen. No, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't even know it's going to happen. I'm telling you, we've looked at patterns in the past and we've seen this and it works like magic. And if you follow me for the whole week, you're going to see that magic happen. I think you saw it in the EuroCAD yesterday. All of you saw in the EuroCAD yesterday. I said, watch this stop here. You see that line there? It could come there and come right back down to the bottom. Why? Because we're looking at these patterns and I'm looking at the sharpness of the waves and I'm thinking, you know what, this thing is 1, 2, 3 not enough. This one has more correction, so there's a good chance 1, 2, 3 it will come back, break this low, and then it's going to go back up. We actually told you, go watch the recordings. You might need to watch those recordings like 10 times before you pick up all the valuable information that is inside. Because as you're watching me, you're missing everything I say. By the time I'm finished with this chart and I move on to the next chart, you miss that point. You totally missed that point, right? And that is going to happen to a lot of you. You will think you get it, but your brain will not retain that information. Because to you, your brain thinks that's useless information. So it will just bypass it. When you watch it again and then you say, why did he think it's going to come to here and then come back there? Now you will learn something. So This would be a sell. I don't think we'll take that sell. There's no risk. We took this buy because there was risk to reward. The entry was here, the stop was here, that was the target. Now if you take a sell here, you have to put an entry here. Your stop has to go above this stop. Your stop has to go above here. And then all I think it can do is break this bottom and go back up. So I will ignore this trade. I would let it make that move. And then I'll be looking for a flag here to buy this to go up. Now the move to the upside should be this one. I can draw about 4 forecasts. I can make a number of forecasts on what I think this pattern is going to do. And then we will see if everyone is behaving the way we want and we'll trade them. So let me just take some arrows. We're going to be here for a week. So I can give you, these are simple patterns I'm going to give you. I think we're going to break this low, complete this pattern, and I hope it completes. We will be going back up. And then the good chances we still have this trade down. So we'll come back down. I think this will go up pretty high. I've seen them doing this. They go back almost all the way to the top, come back, make a flat, and then continue to go. Now this is the simplest of patterns that could form there. That's a simple pattern if it behaves like this. Most times it's very complex. Most times you get a really, really complex correction that looks more like, see, this is a simple one. 1, 2, 3, and go. 1, 2, 3, and go. You don't get them like that every time. Sometimes you get this big mess. Let me see if I can find one of those really messy parts for you where it's there forever and it wouldn't go anywhere. Here's well, this one is a huge one, but basically you get the idea. See this correction here? It's not 1, 2, 3 and go. They get very complex. So there are times when it gets really, really complex. But let's see if we get 1, 2, 3 and go. So we're trading inside of a correction. And we're not just inside of a correction. We're trading inside of a correction of a correction. And that's good. If you can do that, you can trade. If happens, we do that. Yeah, more like that. Like you're writing a program. If this, then that. If this, then that. So, but you have to know what is the if this. And that's what we teach you. We teach you the if this, then you do that. If it doesn't do that, it does something else, then you do something else. See, you got you got it there. I think you're in the group. You're in one of the installment traders, I believe. I remember the Togo, the last name. I can't remember the first name. And I believe you are still in the installment program, right? So you can confirm that. So that's the whole process of how it works. If it's doing this pattern, then this is how we will trade it. And this is pretty much scientific. This is how all your trading should be. It has to be very scientific. Now it's not about anything else except that what the patterns are doing and what the market is doing. That's all. You can't tell the market what they do. You just follow what it's doing. And if you can follow it accurately, chances are you're going to get good trades. So let's go back where we were. We're in the pound, we're in the Aussie, we did the New Zealand, we did the yen. We're already in the yen trade. We'll see how that goes. We did CAD. We're already in the CAD trade. There's no more trade in the CAD right now unless it makes a flag. It makes an next hourly flag. We can get the trade. Doing the Swiss. Those who want that trade could go with it. Euro Oz. We're waiting for this. When it starts to come back, wait for a flag, get the trade. Let's hope we get a flag when it starts to come back, right? And that would be great. EuroCAD. Nothing. We don't have a trade. Let it break the low, then we'll be looking for the buy setups. Euro New Zealand. This thing just keeps going. Wait for some kind of deeper correction and then get in a trade. We're actually looking for a sell setup because the move we're looking for is this one. We would like to see this move to the downside. But if it makes a flag, it's going to make one more move up. You can go with the trade. So we'll be looking from the top there to come down for a sell setup. We don't have any sell setup. Nothing is happening there that we can sell. Let me go back to the 4 hour and set this properly. Set it more like this, because when you go in the hourly, it will get like this. So if we start to get a sell setup here today, we'll take the trade. I don't think we will, but if we start to get a sell setup, we'll take it. Every buy setup here, you have to take it with a lot of caution. Euro yen also from the top there, we would like to get a sell setup because we were in this big flat pattern and I think we could get sell. So we'll be looking for sell setups. We'll keep an eye out for sell setup. We wouldn't be buying it at the top there. Euro Swiss. It's not breaking. It probably will break out today. I think this might break out today here. Or it goes back up this piece and we want it to break this low and then give us this trade. Now this can still continue to go or still stay in this correction for a while before that happens. I think this will be the core correction. This whole piece here is going to be the core correction. So it might work its way up there, come back here, and then go. This would be a sell setup, by the way, but we're the low. See, that's the thing. It could be the sell setup, low. We don't know how low it is going to go before it makes these two sharp move. So if you're taking these trades, you're taking them with extreme caution, like really, really extreme caution, because you don't know how low it's going to go. All right, this is a good sell setup, by the way, except we're exactly at the bottom of the previous impulse. So when you take a trade like that, you have to hope that it drops a lot. Now, if I have to make a choice between selling the Euro Swiss or selling the Euro New Zealand, this is what it looks like. Let me show you what the charts look like. So this is the chart for the Euro Swiss, right? I think this should come here, go back up there, maybe even come back here and then go out, right? That because this is the corrective part. Now this could come quite a lot down before it goes back up and come here and then go, right? So if I'm looking for this sell, I'm taking it from the bottom of this structure. But if I'm getting sell on the Euro New Zealand and the Euro New Zealand and the Euro Swiss, I'm taking this from the top of the structure. See? From the very top of the structure to come back down. So when you're thinking about probability and when you're measuring risk and you're looking at two patterns, that one looks like this. See what this looks like? We're in this structure here. You break the top, you come back. You break the top, you come back. So if I have to sell this or I have to sell the Euro Swiss, of course I'm selling this one. This has the higher probability of going down. This trade is telling me, you know what, if it's gonna go down, it could go down big in the first place. And the second place is, hey, this thing is at the top. Selling the top is always an easier thing to do than to sell the middle or the bottom. And especially since this one is already at the bottom, right? See this? This one is already at the bottom of at least this structure. Bigger picture, they both might go back up. But this one here, we're at the bottom of this structure. So we're not at the top of the structure somewhere here, right? Trying to come down. So if you get the sell in both of them, go with the one with the highest probability and the better chance of giving you a bigger trade and less risk in it, right? So let's go. Europe. Keep the questions to the end of the webinar. I'll take them. At the end of the session, we just run through all the charts so we can get the trades. We don't want to miss the trades. And then we can go. Let this come up and break the top. We're looking for the sell. So yesterday we thought this one is going to drop. Remember that flag? Monday this is going to drop, make this move. That didn't happen. We go back up now. So it's still possible it's going to come here and then go back up. You'll get this long correction. And then we'll probably come and break the low. I don't think we're totally going up, right? I don't think this thing is trying to totally go up. We'll see what happens. There is no buy setup on it. So when we break this top here, we're looking for this trade to the downside, if we can get it. I don't think we'll get it because sometimes it just drops suddenly. Peng Yen, we broke the top. And I mean we broke the top of this one. This is the structure we're in right now. I think this is pretty clear. We're going. This is the low of the structure. This was the top of the structure. We broke that top and we broke this top. So if you break that top, this one is not going to be the one coming down. This one is just going to give you a flat. This will come down here to give us a flat, and then it's going to go back up, right? Once they complete this flat here, it's likely going to go back up, retest the top, and then we'll see, is it taking off or is it going to come back down? Because this structure here is not literally upside. Right, that structure is not upside. That structure is kind of sideways. And when you get it sideways like that, rarely you go up. But can it go higher? Can this come here? Go back, break that top, and then come here? Yep, you'll get something like this. You get a flat here. It could even go there, come back here, you get a flat, and then you go up one more. Here's a good example. See, drop, make this big flat here, come to the bottom, make a bigger flat, go back up. See? So we could repeat the same process right here. Big structure, this is what you're doing. Right? Once we finish this, once this finished, with that move, it started to do that. Make a flat, go up, make a flat, go up, make a bigger flat here. Go up, you're making a bigger flat here. Because this is not so impulsive. This one is going to go break that top. Come back here, go back up, and then we'll see if it drops. It can work its way up all the way to the top like that. See? Or this thing can just keep crawling back to that top. So we'll come back here, go back to the 4 hour. I'll do it backwards so you can see now. We're in this correction. This was the sharp move down, 1, 2, 3. So now we're looking at this piece, and there's one more up. Come back here. First, you want the downside. You want it to come back to this one. This is the one move you're looking for. See that move there? That is the move we're looking for now. Give us a flag and we'll sell. We got the flag at the bottom here. Let's hope we get a flag at the top. So go to the 15, look for the flag. I'll take this off. That is irrelevant. This one is irrelevant also, so we'll put it like this. I want to see when it's breaking out of this structure. I'll put it like this most likely. Just the last piece I'm interested in. Good. Now it has to break it. It has to make a flag on the 15. We don't have either, right? So this thing would have to come down here, make a flag here in the 15 or the 1 hour, and then we'll go for that trade. And if it does, we'll get a good trade. So wait for the flag. Don't jump in because it can go right back up. We're not looking for the buy setup right now. All right, so let's go. Punkad, nothing. I'm going to go through them really quick now, and I'll tell you which one we have nothing, and we'll just move on. Because if we stop at every one of them, we'll have trouble. We're still in this correction coming down. So let it come to the bottom. We'll look for an upside. It's still going to be a buy. It's just making bigger corrections in here. Pound New Zealand. Well, it's consolidating at the top, so we might get a buy setup if it consolidates there. It's now making a flat, and that flat is incomplete, so we'll wait. Pound Oz. I already told you what we're doing for this. I wanted to just break this top, and then we look for the sell. Pound Swiss. It's coming down. I don't think we have a big trade. This is the third Swiss trade that is in this sideways move. The dollar Swiss. It needs to break this low. And then we're looking for the upside because we've got 1, we've got 2, we've got 3, and we think this should go up. I think we have the same thing on the Aussie Swiss. Somebody was asking me yesterday to look at all the Swiss pairs. We could do that really quick. I'm going to put them in the 1 hour. We're looking at this as a possible flat for upside. We'll see how that plays off. If you go and you look at the dollar Swiss, the same thing, US Swiss. Right? We want this up move to give us a flat. This should come break the low, go back up there. That's the Euro Swiss. Let's see what the Euro Swiss has. Euro Swiss has a similar move. We want this to come and break this low here and then go back up there. Pound Swiss I just showed you is the same thing. And if you go to Aussie Swiss, yep, we want this to break the low here, break that low, finish what it's doing there, come back here and then drop. So all of them have that up move and then downside. You may want to focus on the Swiss pair for the rest of the week and next week and the week after that, right? Let's see if we're going to get them. So we're at the bottom of this. While I'm here, I'm going to take a quick look, see what it's doing at the bottom there. We broke the low already. We broke this low. We actually make a new low here. They just made a new low. So what I want them to do is I want this to reverse, just like this reversed, but then I want the flag. See if you didn't get a flag. Let's say you say, okay, it broke the low, I'm in the trade. I put a stop here. See what happens if you didn't take profit? You'll probably close the trade here, the first thing. The second thing, they do that, they come back, take you out, and then go. So we want that flag. It has to make the impulse, make the flag, we get in the trade, we go with it. So that's for all the Swiss pairs. Is it going to be this week or next week? We're going to see. Remember, the dollar Swiss still has more to go. So all of them might drop a little more. The Euro Swiss has more to go. So they might all drop a little more before they go. So come back to the Pound Swiss again where we were. Pound Swiss. See, this could go a little more, break this low, and then upside. Aussie Swiss, I showed you really. Aussie CAD, it's coming down within the channel, so we'll wait to see. If you try to get a sell set up, you're selling within this channel. Selling at the bottom here is a bad idea. Wait until they break out of the channel, make a flag, and then decide it's no longer a channel. Aussie Yen. Like all the Yen pairs, they have this pattern. All the Yen pairs have this pattern. You got a sharp move, you're getting a correction. We're looking for one more down and then upside. All the Yen pairs has this pattern, right? So we're all in a correction here. You make your choice which one you want to sell. We're already trying to sell the Yen, the dollar Yen. Right, so the dollar Yen is something we're looking at. Let's go back to it, dollar Yen. It's kind of pulling back, that's normal. You don't have to worry, all the trades pull back. This is a very small, high risk trade, so you shouldn't be in the traders now. But that first pullback is not the problem. All right, we don't really worry about the first pullback. Unless it goes and take you out, well then, yeah, you'll have a problem, you lost the trade. But at this point, if you think this is a flag, Let's say you think that is a flag that is going to go make a new high and then come. Then what you do is you wait for this to pull back a little here, close the trade, break even. All right, so we will monitor that trade in the 15 minutes to see if it's an exit. If the next candle comes down and break the low, you stay with the trade. We'll see how that goes. Let's go. Aussie yen, we spoke about this. Aussie yen coming down as well, but I don't think this one will drop. Same pattern, one here, correction. I don't think this will drop. We'll wait for a flag, because this could be a running flat here for one more up, which means this thing could come, go back one more, and then drop. So we'll see. All the yen pairs, New Zealand yen, same thing. This one is already dropping. We already broke this sharp move. See that sharp move? We already broke out of this. It's making a flag in the middle. I have no idea why we need a flag there. But if you want to sell it now, you have to sell it. You could either sell it two places. You could sell it under this one or under the low. Since that is gone, I'll put this under the low. Stop above this stop. Target the break of the low. It's not the best trade. Risk to reward is not the best one. But that would be the trade if you want the trade now. New Zealand CAD. It's going down. The sell was from there. Where are we heading for? We're heading to break the low. We just did that. So you can see the flat pattern, right? This is the flat pattern we're looking at. At some point, so that you know, this goes back up there, right? So you can look at the previous ones and you'll see what the trade setups are. See? So you kind of get this weird looking, let me see if I can bring it bigger so you can see. We're in this weird looking down move, right? You kind of get that up move. See that up move there? You got this. So all of these were relatively sharp, and then it started to go a while, it goes there, and now we're in this. So this thing at some point has to go back here, maybe even break out of that structure, come retest this stop, and then come back down here. So we'll be literally in this range here for a while, long time. First, let's see how low this one comes. Can it come all the way to the bottom and then go back? It can, but I'm not expecting that to happen because it's not coming down as an impulse. Right? If it was coming down impulsively, we'd go with that. Impulsively means it's coming like this. So you get a sharp drop, you get a flat, you drop. You could make an argument for running flat, drop. This one is making this. That's more of a corrective structure in relationship to this. So this has to go out of it. Right now we're coming down here. So let's go get the sell setup. If there is a sell setup. So every time you're coming, the idea is that they're going to break the previous low. And then they're going to go back up, right? So we just broke the low. How far beyond that point is this going to go? Now that's a good question. Right, that's a very good question. There's a flag there to sell. So if you want the trade, you can take it. We have to be very cautious because I don't think they're going to go very far. Right? Now that it break the low, now that the low is broken, I don't think you're good. This would have been a good sell yesterday, but now that this one here is there, not much to go there. Probably just do this and start going back up. So if you want that trade, you have to use an entry here, use a stop here, and just go for this. Not good risk to reward, but it's going down. So find another CAD trade. Instead of selling the CAD and find another CAD trade, which is the CAD dollar. Sell the CAD dollar and leave the New Zealand CAD alone. Right? The dollar CAD is sold. It's the same CAD movement if you think. If you think it's a New Zealand movement, then trade the dollar New Zealand or trade any other New Zealand pair that is not at the bottom or the top of a structure. Right? That doesn't, I mean, it's not bottom and still going down or top and still going up. CAD yen. This one's still going up. We broke the top, but remember all the CAD trades have this sharp move, and we're trying to get the next sharp move down here before it goes back up. Right? So that's the next sharp move. This one didn't break out yesterday, so you shouldn't be in this trade. I'll take it off. I'll just leave it so you can see. And now we're still looking for this trade, but only if we might not get it there. We might get it above this top. I'll take this out. So instead of coming down, they went back up. That's more of a correction. Take this up. Take this out. And it's making another flag here. See that? So this will probably give you one more impulse, and then we'll start to look for this trade down. Any flag like that we get there, we'll be selling. Let it break the top. Any flag it gets, I'm selling. We're going for that one. It's not going to break the low anymore because we broke the top. So it's probably going to be a running flat, which means we'll be looking for something like this. Not necessarily the same, but similar. Right? It has to break the top, and then we'll be looking at something that a sell from there to come and close to the low, not break the low. So literally might look like this. It might look like this. And an entry above the top. So we'll see if we get that. Cat Swiss, nothing. It's going up. Just leave it alone. Swiss yen, no traders yet. We have the sharp move. This one does. This is the only yen pair that doesn't have that sharp move down what we need to get. Right? We don't. We have it here, but we broke that top already. So we'll get it, but within this structure, within the bigger structure. See, within this. So it will pull. It will make this pull back here somewhere from the top there. We'll get a pullback, and then we'll go back up again. So the question will be whether this is all our correction. This here. And I think it will be, we will eventually take this. We had this initially that flat in the middle, 1, 2, 3, drop to the bottom. So this one is going to make a flat coming down here and then go back up. All the yen pairs have that possibility. So we're looking for the sells on them, not the buy. Let's see if we get it. I'm not sure we'll get it, but if we do, it'll be good. So let's go. Natural gas. Yep, we're looking for that buy. Let's see if it starts. It's consolidating, which is great. You always wanted to consolidate before it goes. So you've got a flat already in play. Perfect. Put an entry above the top, go for the trade. You have this flat. And it seems like they're making more corrections here, but the entry order should go for the buy above the top here. Take this out and go for the buy above that top. Keep a stop under this low. See that drop there? Stop there, go back up, because we're in this structure. This is what you're looking for. You want it to come back and retest that top. Now, can it drop and retest the low first? It can, but we're not looking for the sell. We're looking for the buy setup. So if we get the buy, we'll take it. If it goes lower, we'll figure out it when it gets there. Oil. See why we didn't want to sell the oil yesterday? I keep telling you, I'm not going to sell it, although we have a sell setup because we don't have the structure here and I have no idea where it's coming from. If it's coming from the bottom, it's going to go up. Right? I don't know what happened with this piece. Is this piece lower? If this piece is lower, if this piece is from here, then this is a flag for upside. But if this piece was coming from here, like if it had gone there, if this gap had been here and then come here, then this would be downside. But since we didn't have the charts, we don't know the structure, leave it alone. And if you leave it alone, you wouldn't regret it. It's going up now, right? Let it break the top. You don't have a buy setup. Maybe if you get a flag here now, you can buy it. And when it gets to the top, we'll see the bigger structure. We're aware of what the bigger structure is. All right, this is the bigger structure. So you've made a very sharp move to this top. If it's going to continue to go, you would wait for any flag above this top and then flag or correction and buy without the gaps, and we'll buy. Remember closing the gaps? Where was somebody was asking me, do they always go close gaps? I gave a whole lecture on why gaps is irrelevant. You are witnessing it live. You're right here now witnessing what I told you happen live. They don't have to go and close those gaps because there's no purpose in closing the gap. The gap is irrelevant to the trading. Well, go tell the people who tell you they always go close gaps. And I think that was the question. Should we sell it because to go close the gaps? And I was like, no, don't do that. One, we don't know what the structure is because we can't tell you where the gap stopped, where it started, how it ended. We don't know that. So stay away from it. Two, no, they don't have to go close gaps. So if you're a gap trader, you just lost it. Right? Then I hope you're not insisting on them going to close the gap, because if you keep keeping that, you don't know where that will end up. This could end up, this could end up going up way, way, way back to the top. Just go there, make a flag, go there, make a flag, go there, and your gap will still be here. Right? I'm not saying it will do that, but I'm saying it's possible. In this structure, it's possible. What I'm looking for, I can tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a possible running flat here. Sorry, more like this. So I think this will go a little more there, and then we're looking for downside. Because all of this here looks like a flat within this structure, right? So it looks like we're going to make 1, we're going to make 2, we're going to make 3, and we're going to come back down. If I'm wrong about that, then they're totally going up. Well, no problem. We'll wait until we get the right setup, and then we'll trade it. If you don't have a right setup, don't trade it. You don't know what it's doing. So now we'll wait to see which one is it. Right, are we trying to make a big correction here for upside, or are we trying to make a big correction here for downside? We'll see. Go back to the 1 hour and wait. Nothing to trade there right now. S&P 500, we already looked at this. It's a sell setup if you want it. It's aggressive trade. Really aggressive. If they drop through this bottom, we can expect them to come here. They did that on NASDAQ, but they didn't go as fast as we'd like them to go. So like I said, if you're in this trade, you move your stop to this level. Right? If you're still in the trade, you move your stop here because it's coming, but not the way we expect it to come. Now, at any point in time, they can make a sharp move like that and come back here. Right? If that happens, this becomes the core correction. I hope you're getting used to that word, the core correction. The core correction is the main correction in any corrective structure. Now you're going to hear that terminology pretty often. I created it, right? So you're going to hear that terminology pretty often in wave trading and Elliott wave trading and all of that. They'll be telling you about the core correction. A few of them will be a little shy to start using it, but eventually they will use it, right? Because it's the best way of explaining where the middle of the correction is. So if this goes back up here, make this flat here, and then come here, we call this the core correction. What that means you go up one more, you come back one more, you go up one more, you come back here, and then you go. Finding the core correction in any corrective structure is the important thing, because once you find the core correction, you're on the right track. So all wave traders out there, start using it. Start explaining to people the core correction so they will literally get it right. US 30, let's go. Yep, this has a flag here. I am not sure whether this one is a good one to sell, and I can explain to you why. You see, we broke the top, right? This is the only one that broke the top. It seems like it's so hard to find the core correction. Nope. If you're in my group and you understand the way we look at it, it's going to be easy for you to understand where it is and how to find it, right? So when you're here, and we think all of them were here and we expect them to drop, right? This one was here yesterday. We thought it would drop more. One is going down. One is still at the top, and this one actually broke the top. Now that changes everything. It's either it's a running flat, which means this will still drop. This will still drop it, but it will do this and then go back up because this becomes a running flat. Right? That's one option. The second option is, well, we had, let's say we look at this as a contracting flat. Let's say we take this here now as the B wave. This is the contracting flat. And this one is just going to do this and then go back up. That is also possible, right? So for that reason, I wouldn't take this sell. If we have to sell the S&P 500 SPX, because this one, you see, we didn't break that up. So this would be a better choice for the downside than that one. Even if that one comes, this would be a better choice. Nasdaq, same thing. You're already in this. This one doesn't have any trade anymore. We'll have to wait. Nifty, nothing much. You wait for correction and then go for the buy. This one, the same thing. Wait for this to prove it's a big correction, then we go for the buy. We don't have anything there right now. Tesla, somebody wanted Tesla yesterday. It's coming down. Tesla is in this structure. We were expecting Tesla to drop one more here, but I think we might relook at this structure. We might put all of this in here as a flat. Take that out. Let me take this out so you can get an idea. We might put all of this in here as an expanding flat. So you get 1, 2, 3. You get this one as a 3-wave structure. Because if they stay at the top here like this, this one is likely going to come a little more here. And then we're going to get an upside. And this here might be all your correction before this goes back up. So watch this come to the bottom here and then look for buy setups. Very likely it could be that. So we'll keep an eye on this. We'll track the structure. We'll see which one is happening. Right? There is a sell setup. This should give you a sell setup to retest this low. And then from there, if it drops to this bottom, congratulations. Good job. If it doesn't, then you exit the trade and you look for buy setups. Bitcoin. I'll do Bitcoin and I'll do ETH. If Bitcoin has a buy setup and it's a very nice one, you have a very good flat forming here. You can put an entry over there. You can put a stop under the low and see whether it takes off. Now, if it just breaks the top, start to come back, I hope you can put it to break even and get out of it. ETH, not exactly similar structure, right? See, this one actually, we didn't break the top. So you're still in this, which means this could do this, come back here, go back there, come here, and then break that top. If it stays in that flat, it will go break the top. I don't think it will go right now. So you've got to be careful with that one. XRP, I can do this for you. This actually looks downside. So once it broke that top, we told you be careful. So this now has 1, 2, 3. This will go back up one more like this. And then after that, the chances are it's going to drop. Because the bigger structure is downside. I think I posted the structure on YouTube. So if you go back to YouTube and you find the date I posted the structure and look at all the videos on Forex or on cryptos that were posted these days, and see how many of them has a simple and accurate forecast like this. Very few. But also see how many views they're getting. Because this didn't get a lot of view, But people with a whole set of nonsense, the catchy phrase, right? The clickbait one, they got thousands and thousands of views and no trade setup on it. More views, but no trade setup. This is a simple, well planned trade. It works or it doesn't work, but it's a trade setup, very simple. Now we will I might post this one once it's ready. Once this here is ready and we get a complete flat here, I'll probably post the same thing here and look for this trade now. It will likely break this low. Now it might not go very fast. This one might end up going like this. And then the upside. Anybody have any idea why that might be so slow? Come on, let me see how many of you are thinking really great. Tell me why this down move could be really, really, really slow. Anybody? Let's see who posted first. You might get a gift. Nobody knows why? Well, it's over. Oh no, I think there's a sorry, you guys can pause. There is a pause. I forgot about the pause. I'll take a break while you guys are posting. Let me mute myself. I'm curious how many of you can tell me why that should be very, very slow to the downside. How do I mute myself here? I don't see a microphone here to mute myself. Oh, I have the microphone. Audio output, input, output. I can mute both. Okay, sorry guys. Either the delay is too long or nobody has any idea why. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. That's the accumulation phase. That's a question somebody asked yesterday. Now, that is what you'll call the accumulation phase. Somebody asked that question yesterday, but what is the difference between accumulation and correction? So think of it this way. If you want to own the majority of the cryptos because you want it to come to this stop, and you want people to sell rather than buy, you give them a spike, you give them another spike, and then you keep it here for as long as possible. You keep it here for 2 years or 3 years. You make the most die-hard crypto trader sell his crypto at the bottom here. When you accumulate enough, which means when 60 to 80% of the cryptos are in your hand, that should be 60 to 80% of the cryptos are in your hand, you can put it up that way now. Right? So, good. It's not the main correction. It's not a complex pattern. It's much simpler than that. It's called the accumulation phase. Now we're going to accumulate everything. We give you a chance to exit your trades here. We give you a chance to exit your trades here now. So now we will make sure that all the cryptos for the next year probably is ours. You can go back and you can see the same thing happen here. You push it to the top and then you drop it. You give them a few short spikes to exit. This is your opportunity to get rid of your crypto that you're scared of holding. And then you get this. You give them another chance to exit. You drop it. And then you get this. What is this phase? That's the place where you were not buying because you can't hold it so long, right? Even if you bought some here, guess what you do? You sold it back. This one started from, after this drop, it started from here. This was when? That was September 18th. I'm going to take the final drop. This drop here, that was December 20th. 2 years. Did I say 2 years they're going to hold it for? Did I say they can hold this thing here for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or 6 years or 7 years? How much it need to hold it for before they get enough so they can bring it up here? You really think this is not manipulated? Okay. Good luck with that thought process. If you think there is no manipulation going on here, then good luck to you. Because there is. And there's a lot of manipulation. And that's the whole point, if you don't know it. Alright, so we're going to go to that. I will leave this here, and whichever more you guys want that has trades set up on them, you will tell me and then we'll go. So I'll post this one here and we'll see how fast it drops. I don't think it's going to drop fast, but we'll see. We'll get it to go. And then you'll come back here after 2 years and tell me what's happening to it. How wrong I was, right? Let's go. Anyway, let's go up now. Gold, please. Okay, you just came in because we did gold already. So I'll look at it again for you, and then we look at the trades we are actually in. Gold is already going, it's pulling back. So if you're in the trade, you might have moved your stop. I hope you did. At least if you took some profit at the top here, you did well. Wait for another setup here, wait for another flag or so, and then we'll go with the trade again. It's still going up, it's still upside. We'll probably get another correction, we'll get another buy setup. We don't have it as yet. If it's going to drop beyond this point for a bigger correction, let's say this is becoming a bigger correction and it's not this one as yet. Let's say we're making another flat like this. All right, we'll wait for a flag here, and when we get a flag, we'll sell it, but we don't have that either. All right, so we'll take some questions. I'll go through the trades we are actually in. I'm in the yen trade. Let's start with that. It's pulling back, like I said, no problem. It will pull back. Most times they always pull back. So since this is a 15-minute trade, if it starts to break out of this, see this here? If it starts to break out of this, the idea is that it could make a new high, which means we'll take a loss. So what I'm going to do is any pullback to this level here that is not breaking through the low will be closing the trade. This is not much. This is all the upside down right now, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to track this, and this move has to drop through the bottom here now. If it doesn't drop through the bottom for any reason, it stays sideways here, I'll close the trade. See? Now you would have to understand the patterns you're looking at to know when, how, and why to close the trade. So right now that comes back to the bottom here and it doesn't break through this, I'm out of that trade. The CAD trade, I have it at break even, so I don't have to worry about that. This is at break even here now. And we'll see they're pulling back. I think we can make an argument for running flat here. I think we can all make an argument for running flat. So this would be today's trade. I'm going to put today's trade if you want to trade it still. Right now, maybe closing this trade would be a good idea for me to take the profit here, but it's very small, so I'll just leave it at break even and we'll see what happens. The second trade will be this. This is today's trade if you want it. You can short it under this low, put the stop above this stop here, and the target is still the same, right? We haven't changed that target yet, coming and break the low. So this is about a 1.4 trade. Not a bad idea. You bring it slightly higher, 1.4, I think, somewhere there. So the stop is above this one, is above this. Do you see that sharp move there? The stop is above that sharp move. And if we make an assumption that this here is making a running flat, then this would drop from here. That would be your trade. Right? So this would be the running flat here, this piece. Now, if this goes anywhere higher there, that trade is no longer valid. A little more maybe, but any too high there, that trade is no longer valid. All right, that's the second trade. Let's go. What else we're looking at? Pound trade, the pound tag mean it pull back. So remember, I tell you, this is a really aggressive trade. You should not take this trade because it's super aggressive. You will not know how to manage a trade like this. The only reason we're taking this trade is because of the possibility of a flat forming here. The possibility of this, not this flat, the bigger flat forming here. Going back up there, making a big flat here and then drop. If this is a leading diagram. That is a correction, and all this thing will do is it will come to the bottom here and then go back up. So I'm taking this trade. When it gets to the bottom here, I'll put it to break even. The stop for that trade is here, is above the top. That's where we'll actually buy it if we're buying, right? So it's pulling back, that's normal. You see this piece pull back, this piece pull back. So when they drop the next time, it's not supposed to pull back to my entry point, it's supposed to go. So this first pullback happened, they drop, they make a next one, they drop again, they make a next one, they drop, I'll put it to break even. I am assuming that I will get out of this trade for break even if it doesn't go down. Right? We already discussed that in the trading room. If the trade doesn't go down, the trade will be a break even trade. It wouldn't be a profitable trade. But if it goes down, then it becomes a profitable trade. If it's making a flat like this, that's a break even trade, and then we would look for the buy setup. We'll try to buy it from the bottom here with a flag and it going up. So right now, no reason to worry much about this trade. Right, we'll see how that goes. Those are the 3 trades, active trades I have. There might be more active trades my traders are in or you guys are in. Tell me what trades you're in, we'll go with it. So let me see, there were some questions. Pfizer, we'll look at Pfizer just so let me take some of the questions that we had earlier. Can you show me how to label impulse? Yeah, if you take my 6-week course, I'll show you how to label. I'll also tell you why labeling is a waste of your time. Because it's useless. And if you pose the question 1, 2, 3, 4 times, I think you have a problem. Right? So we have one person who poses the question 4 times. You probably shouldn't be doing wave analysis. I don't have the patience of repeating the same thing 4 times to you. So let's go. When is it possible? When is it possible Nasdaq? Oh, we did Nasdaq already. I think that, but we did. Somebody wanted oil. We did that already. Here is no gap on oil. I don't, Anton. There was a gap in the charts, not on oil itself. Oil can't have a gap, but on the charts, on most of the charts on the oil price, there was a gap somewhere. Somebody wanted to go back and fill, and that is the gap we're talking about. I think you should see it. I don't think my charts is the only one that has it, because the question was whether all the gaps get filled. Right, this was the gap to the downside. This piece here. See this gap here? With this price, this gap. And that was a question whether all gaps get filled. And eventually they might get filled. Price will eventually go back down. So let's see, what is the next one? But it seems like it's, oh, that was to the core correction thing. Is there a way to determine how far a C of a running flat will go? No, there is no way. You have no idea how far it's going to go. The idea that any impulse in any correction or in any structure is going to go to a specific place and stop and come back is an illusion. Right? Normally what we would do is we would say it should be equal to the previous impulse. They don't have to, but as a gauge, that's just as a gauge for you to understand that, okay, they might get equal. So most times they're very close in the size, and you can use that as a gauge, not a must, but a gauge. To say, well, yeah, maybe they'll be equal to that, so I'm going to go with that. That's okay. Right? So you can do that, but you don't know exactly where it'll stop. That's more of a guess. Well, you can make an educated guess if you put the previous impulse and said, well, they should be equal. Right? That's where it will stop, right? Not necessarily to stop there, but if you follow the structure as it's moving, it will give you a better idea where it's stopping. And most times, even if you have a really big impulse going and you're in a trade in a 15-minute or 1 hour, you will get out and in of that trade more than once. We did that in the CAD yesterday, right? You saw how we do it. Today would be a good idea to repeat it in the CAD. Right? This is the second trade on the same impulse going down. Let's see if this trade happens. Let's go. What is it? Is there? I got it. Or you just have to be vigilant. And not exactly vigilant. You can look at the patterns. Yeah, you got a point. Look at the patterns and see if it's making consolidation. Get out and get back in. Oh, that is you guys answering to the question that I asked. The accumulation phase, and let's go. Let's go. What your draw? I don't know what that question is. So I think you're asking me what I drew something on the chart. You'll have to be more specific which chart when, because remember when I look at your when I'm reading the chat, I have to match your question to the chart. So start by saying which chart you're talking about. Can you show me how to label if you ABC and WXY with MACD? Oh, here is another. I think I know who this is. This is one of my trader who probably has a psychological problem. This is the 6th time he's posing the same question. I think I might have kicked him out of the group, so he's coming in with a different name. Dude, get a life. It's that simple. Just get a life, right? Go on. Let's go. Next question. You don't have to follow me around, you know. I am not throwing crumbs on the ground for you, so go ahead, get yourself a life. Go get your kids and walk. Take a walk. Take your girlfriend out for a walk if you have one. That's assuming you have one. You know, go do whatever you have to do with your life and enjoy. I'm not a superstar. You don't need to follow me around like that. But if you have a lot of extra time and I am the sole person you need to put your focus on, be my guest. Waste your time. Right? But don't disturb the webinar, right? Other people are interested in serious things. So you can sit and watch, but don't disturb it. Let's go. Next one. Next question. Anybody? Okay, so we go back to trading, right? The pound is going back down and the yen is going up. So both of them, if it's a dollar movement, both of them will not go in the same direction. They'll go in opposite direction. So I have to look to exit this one and I have to look to keep this one, right? So we'll see which one. If this keeps coming down like that, up and down, the yen will do the same thing. So most likely I'll close the yen first. simply because of where the stop is. If this comes back here, I'll close it. If not, remember I told you it's a very aggressive trade, willing to accept that loss if it doesn't go. Right? These are 5 minutes, 15 minutes aggressive trades. When they go, they do well. Pfizer. Somebody want Pfizer. Let's put Pfizer on for you. What's the code for Pfizer? Tell me. Do you have the code for it? Let's see if we can find it like this. Pfizer Limited. I think we'll use this. PFI. Well, it comes up as this one. I hope this is the chart you're looking for. Just give me yes. Quick so I can. Okay, the delay is really long because the yes is already 15 minutes. Yes, it's 15 seconds. Yes, not in. So let's go. I'll assume this is the chart and you'll confirm it as we go. So I'll start analyzing it. Thank you. Oh, that's a long delay we have actually. Very, very long. That thing took 30 seconds to come. So on the weekly, this is the chart you have. This is coming down, right? What you want to know is I don't have this whole structure. I don't have, this is all I have. It's not much of a structure. There's an up move and now it's coming down. Go back to the daily, right? So it's literally going down. I don't see any reason why it should go back up. We do have some divergence. If this is a big correction, let's just assume for a second that is a daily correction. You would only know that when this piece makes a daily structure for upside. So right now it's going up on a 1 hour. I say keep buying it. Buy it until it starts to make a daily correction. So right now, if you're looking at this trade, this was a buy setup. This here was a buy setup. Right? If it starts to make another one here, go with that buy setup. It makes another one, go with the buy. At some point, it will start to do this. And that would confirm the upside. If it starts to drop, get it, put an entry order to exit the trade. So on the 1 hour, this is what you're doing. You can start by buying this one. You put the break even, you put an entry order to sell it here. It makes another flag here. You buy that. It comes down, it go back up, you close the trade, you put an entry here, it goes there. You put an entry to, you move both of those entries to sell here. So this one is in profit, this one is now in break even, you put an entry. If this makes another flag and go, you buy this and you put all the entries here. If you're trading like that, right? If you're trading this stock like that, I guess that's what. But if you have one trade, just move your stop to this level and leave it. If you were not in this trade, then wait for the bigger correction. Bigger than this one and bigger than this one. And then take that one and you can follow the same process I just showed you. Now, that's really, really easily said, right? You're looking at it and said, yeah, I could do that. That sounds pretty easy to do, right? Until you start getting this. And then the trouble starts, right? The first correction you hit will be your problem. So it's not that difficult, by the way. It's not difficult. You just have to understand patterns and how it's going to do. This could be the start of the up move. This could literally be the start of the up move, but we can't confirm that until we get that bigger correction that says, hey, you're going up. Because this could also be this. See what they did here? You see all these sharp moves here? And they drop. So they make a sharp move, they come back, make a sharp move, come back, make a sharp move, come back, and then you get this. And that's downside. And that is why I said every time, you move the stop and put an entry to take you out. So they take you out here, they drop. You repeat the process on this one, they drop. You repeat the process on that one, they drop. You repeat the process, whichever one. And then you start actually looking for sell setups from the top going down. See? And if you're good at getting the sell setups, you might get it from the very, very top. Going down. And then one of these is going to drop like this, and then that's your trade. You're going to make small money in these, like break even and very small, but then when one of them drop like that, that's your trade. You make a ton of money there. You don't know which one is going to drop, by the way. If you do good wave analysis pattern, you might be able to tell to the closest which one is a complete pattern. So, okay, guys, before I go, I'll go back the trades we're in, because when we come in New York session, we'll tell you what we did to those trades. That's what we do in our trading room. Between now and New York session, we might have a session in our trading room. This is what we are trying to do here. So what I just told you, right? See, it kind of go up, it drop. We were selling. It kind of go up, it's going to drop. We believe it's going to drop. So I'm already in the sell. You're looking at it and say, where the hell is the sell there? I can't even see anything to sell. Right? So I'm going to go into 1 hour and you still can't see where the sell should be. Because what we do is we went on the 15 minutes and do it. We went and took a really aggressive trade. Because if that trade goes in our direction, the risk to reward is amazing. If it doesn't go, you take a small loss. That's okay. Most times, it will not even be a loss. It will be a break-even trade because we are very good at analyzing what it's doing now and say, hey, you know what? This is not the drop. Let's get the hell out of it. Right? This is not the drop. Let's get the hell out of this trade and go with the next trade. So remember what I said. When it comes back to my point of entry or very close to my point of entry, I will close this trade because this trade doesn't seem like the one that is going to drop. Right? Is there a sell signal in the process of forming? And you're looking for a sell setup, not signal. It's a setup. Sell setup on silver. It's very important you differentiate those two, right? And I'm not picking on you. The differentiation of those two is people who are selling signals, are giving you signals, and those are not working. When you get a setup, the probability of a setup is very high. I think you have a point here. It could be, but it could also be making a correction. See this? You see this one drop here? Look. See this here drop? They did this, they drop. Well, that's a correction for upside. So this drop, if it does this, drop again, that's a correction for upside. Right? If they start to do this going up like this, that is what we call a channel. If you start to see that channel, look for your big sell setup. So could this be the one going down? Wait for a flag. This is too small a flag. This is way too small. So wait for a flag like this and then go for the trade. If it is making that flag, we'll get the trade. And the cat. So the cat is the next trade we're in. This is gonna drop. If you want, that's your second entry or that's your second trade. I might even take the second entry because I'm in the first one already. If that drops, that's the second trade, and we'll show you how to manage that one if it tags you. And the next, I'll look at Wave USDT for you just now, 1 second. And Pong, right? So this Pong I'm showing you also. This trade might be more of a break-even trade because it's not going the way I thought. I was looking for a real drop like this, if it was going to give us a drop like that, but it's going really slow. So by the time it gets to the bottom here, I'll put it to break-even and leave it. I am already in advance accepting that that trade might be a break-even trade because it's not behaving the way we thought it would behave when we get in the trade. See? And this is the amazing thing about wave analysis. It helps you to understand what the chart is doing. You're aware of what's happening in every stage of the chart. You're kind of looking at, okay, I know what's going to happen next. I think I figured out what this piece is doing. Whereas if you're using support and resistance, you're using Ichimoku cloud, you're using all those stuff, all they're telling you is that when it breaks here, you probably get a setup. It doesn't tell you what next, how it should move next, or what you should look for in the chart next to know if you should exit before it hits your stop loss or before it gets to your target. Because they're not looking at patterns. They're not looking at the chart itself. They're saying, well, it didn't hit your stop loss, then wait until it gets to your profit. It didn't get to your profit, don't interfere with the trade until it hits your stop loss. And I'm like, dude, that's crazy. Right? You can't say don't interfere with the trade until it gets to your stop loss. If you know for sure, you can see it's going to the stop loss. Right? Like, that doesn't make sense if you can cut the trade by half by seeing that this setup is telling me the next move is downside. Right? So if I see that the next move is downside and I'm in a buy and it came back to my entry point, but after that I know that it's going to drop, I can visually see that setup that says it's going to drop, I shouldn't just sit and wait until it go take out a stop. As a trader, your job is to get a heck out of that trade. But no other analysis gives you that because they don't look at patterns, and since they don't look at patterns, they can't tell you that, hey, this pattern looks downside, so it come back to your entry point, get the hell out of it before it drops. No, they don't have that. Subordinate resistance have it. Ichimoku cloud doesn't have it. What other thing you use? Smart money, dumb money. Most of the people who trading smart money on the internet, retail traders, are actually the dumb money. Right? I know they're going to come and make stupid comments on this thing all over. Their comments don't go through anywhere. Right? It's filtered out. Some of them use language that YouTube will filter anyway. But that's not the smart money. That's you trying to think you know what the big traders are doing when you don't know. You don't have a clue what they're doing. Right? Trade with care. For all of you, trade with care. Just remember, everything you hear you should question, including what I say. You got a view maybe on trade event on the small picture for XPT. I think we did that yesterday. I'm gonna look at it again. Let's do two. I'm gonna do two charts and then we call it a day. Somebody want wave? Let me see. You want wave X? What is it? USDT, right? Wave USDT. I think that's the one you want. Let's go with this. Let me open this chart for you. Oh, you're getting a good sell set up on the 15. Let's go into 1 hour. I don't want to get it there. Let's go into 4 hours, see what it's doing. You're just in a correction. You have to tell me whether this is real. I don't know. I would make an assumption it's not real. Right? You'll tell me that later. This actually happened. You're actually making a correction in this range. So this should come here, go back there, and then drop. Short term, that's the trade. How you're going to trade it, I have no idea. You'll have to have your own strategy on that. Right? So that will be up to you with your wave strategy in that one. So let's see that here. Somebody wanted what? Is there? I looked at the XAG. I looked at that. I looked at it. You got a view, and maybe we will look at that for you. I went short at 1016. You went short at 1016 with a target at 975. 1016. You went short where? In this chart, you're telling you went short at 1016? On XPT. That's I'm very confused with you. There's no 1016 here. Stop at XPT. Let me see the XPT for you. I think we did that yesterday. XPT. At 10. It's at 103 now. So good. With a target of coming to this area, somewhere in here, right? Target of somewhere here, I think. Yeah, not bad. That's not a bad one. And we spoke about that yesterday. So what you would do is when this drop under this low, get it to break even. Because I think I explained that. If this is a correction, it could go right back up. Get it to positive, put it that way. Right, when it gets to that level, get it to positive because it can go right back up. We spoke about that yesterday. I just got the buy setup on Ava USDT. Good. We'll look at that. Is it good? Buy setup on Ava. I think I have that one as well. AVA USDT, right? AVAX. Okay, AVAX USDT. Let's see. You got a buy setup. Nope, I don't see a buy setup. Possible buy setup, but I don't see a buy setup. You have to look. Let's see what the bigger picture is. Try to figure out where this is gonna go. It looks more downside. Go back to the 1 hour. Let me see where the buy setup comes in. I don't know what time frame you're looking at, but this looks sideways to me. This here looks like a channel. And we had this one, or you can even put it with this one, and we're going into it this way. So at some point you would have to come back down for this. At some point this would have to come back here, make a big flat, and then you'll get a really good one. But if you're buying inside of the channel to get back to the top of the channel, well, that's really, really small trading. I don't do that. Even the 15 minutes would be, yeah, that's small. I think you might be looking at this 15 minutes trade, which is super aggressive. Good for you. If you trade that, that's okay. Yeah, if you're taking these 15-minute trades, and you can, and depends on what is the spread they take for this thing. What spread you get? You have to get really good spread before that is worth it. Right? If you have to get really good spread for this to work. If you're getting that good spread, then yes. And commission, if you're paying commission, make sure you calculate the commission into it as well. And this thing moves really fast, so if you can manage that, not a problem. So okay guys, thank you for coming. Any questions before I go? So Pong is going back into the break-even stage. We let Pong drop some more. I'm working on break-even on yen, not on Pong, right? So I'm trying to get yen out of into break-even, not the Pong. Right, so this one is the first candle. I'll give it a few more, let it consolidate, and then take it off a break-even. So most likely this will be the break-even trade because Pong is going to go down. I'll put Pong to break-even and leave it. Okay, take care, everybody. Thank you very much for coming. And remember, you can come with more questions this afternoon. Just make sure you bring really nice questions that is going to actually make you a better trader. And I will see all of you. For those of you who would like to join us, join me this join the group itself. Send me a Skype message. I'll send you all the details. If you pay now, you will get 1 extra month free to make that decision. So you'll pay for 1 month installment. You'll get 2 months. If you would like to join the group full, you pay the full thing and you'll get access to everything. So take care. Trade with care. Bye.